Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to give you my #1 manifestation tool that has completely transformed, changed, and enhanced my life with manifestation more than anything else. That is the manifestation journal. If you use this manifestation journal that I'm going to take you through the process and demonstrate how to make, by the end of utilizing it, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt, no question at all, that manifestation is real. You will have irrefutable scientific proof using the same types of mathematical probability techniques that any law of physics is based on. You will have absolute certainty and confidence in yourself that you will get whatever you want. And you will be able to depend upon manifestation, just like you can depend on the sun coming up and coming down every single day. So stay with me on this video. I will take you through step by step the exact process of exactly how I created my manifestation journals to work for me, that I utilize every single day. It is easy, and along with this video, I have an attachment that you can download. And I'll share a little bit more about that as we go along, but it's the layout. Do not forget to download that attachment, but do that after this video. So let's jump into it. But first, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want broken down, systematic, time-tested techniques on how to manifest anything at all in a predictable manner, in a no-guessing manner. If you are trying to master manifesting or the law of attraction, this is the channel for you in a broken down, systematic, no BS way. Also, hit the like button. It does something to the algorithm so that those who would not normally be able to see this will be able to see this. And also hit the bell icon. So let's get into this. Manifestation journal. The reason I came up with this, right, and I'm not the first one to ever think of a manifestation journal, but for me, when I came up with one, it was one of the most profound things that I heard from somebody. Back when I used to be in a Bible study group back in 2010 to 2012 or 2013, and I had first experienced manifestations, right? Not by means of law of attraction or Neville Goddard or anything like this, but directly from reading the Bible. Now, if you watch my channel now, as an aside, you'll realize that that mainstream approach of the Bible is not something that I elaborate or indulge in, but there is certain mystical interpretations of that Bible that really you can, and not even you can, but modern law of attraction and mainstream manifestation techniques are derived from that, right? In other words, the Bible is manifestation manual of reality, right? Step by step, how to manifest. Upon starting to experience manifestations, or at that time I just called them miracles, I was told by a friend of mine, this is what was really profound. He said, keep track of all of your manifestations because they will comfort you on a rainy day. And so what did he mean by that? And why was that so profound? At the moment, I didn't realize it. I just did as he suggested. And from the time I started doing that back in 2010 or 11 and all the way up until now, I have tens of thousands of manifestations written down, right? Amazing ones, big, small, or whatever. And so what he meant by they will comfort me on a rainy day is when you are in doubt, when you need something big, when things are going horribly wrong, you can look back at your manifestation journal and know for a fact that you will still be able to get what you want. For that reason alone, the manifestation journal is the one tool that I use that you could take everything else away from me. Everything. you leave those journals for me, I will be back where I left off and better, faster than ever before. All I need is to be able to look back at my experiences and prove that I manifested a business. I manifested someone recovering from this illness. I manifested an apartment. I manifested whatever, on and on and on. Money and wealth and freedom and happiness and vacations and things for my family, right? Knowing that is so important, because from that, you can again create reality over and over and over and over again. Now, that is only one benefit to the manifestation journal. There are so many more that are equally, if not more important than that. And that alone is an astronomically valid reason to start one in the first place. So, as we go along here, I'm going to show you pictures of my actual manifestation journal, the way that I have set it up, so that you can copy that directly and utilize it the exact way that I do. You will find that it has really evolved from that very simple approach of just writing down manifestations. We use this now to master manifestation in a fraction of the time as someone else who does not have what I'm going to provide you with. I would even go to say that you utilizing this manifestation journal compared to someone who never did, you will evolve to a place that is far superior or beyond mastery in comparison to that person, right? They could be doing or practicing manifesting for 20 years, and I have seen this with myself. They could be doing it for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but without using this approach, right, you will surpass them in a year. For me, it took a couple of years developing this system, and there are people, mainstream people, multi-millionaires who are teaching law of attraction and manifestation techniques that are just incorrect. And the only reason I know that is because what I will go in to describe to you. So what I would like it if you did is get a notebook, get a journal. You can use your computer. And in fact, like I said, what I'm going to provide you, the file, will be something you can get on the computer. But I highly recommend that you print out what I give you and actually get a physical journal, a physical notebook. And there are very important reasons why you should do this. So after you watch this video, go out and get one, order one on Amazon, overnight it, whatever you have to do, and just print out what I have given you, and then stick it in this, glue it, whatever you want to do, tape it, and then start utilizing it immediately. So without further ado, we will jump directly into this manifestation journal. This is the very first bullet key contents of a manifestation journal when I started to organize it. And I'll show you a picture of it right there. And I'll give you a brief outline as to what these table of contents mean and why they are important. So the first one is what you're going to be writing down, and there's little symbols that you'll be writing down as well. This is more accurately the one that you're going to be using. So what happens, more or less, is you will date as you're about to write a journal entry, and then one of these symbols, you're going to place those down depending upon what you're about to write in the journal. We're going to go over how to log manifestations, how to log imaginal acts, how to log testing and results, and many other things. Some of these I'll summarize because of the redundancy or the similarity between symbols, but you'll get the gist. And ultimately, in the end result, you want to make yours customized to fit your needs so that it belongs to you, that you will like it, you will use it. That's the whole point. So the first thing that you would be doing is writing down manifestations. So every time you see a manifestation, you're going to write a little M, as you'll see, And then you're going to write the date and you will write down what the manifestation is. Now, you can be as thorough or descriptive as you possibly can if you have the time to do that. If not, you jot it down, and then later on, you'll write a little TBC for to be continued, and then later on, you'll pick up where you left off. A really important concept of why we are writing down our manifestations is the first one, as I described, it's that rainy day, right? That comfort on a rainy day. Looking in our book and realizing that we were able to manifest this job, this cup of coffee, this person telling us we were good looking, this finding money on the street, this whatever it is. The fact that we are writing it down is critical. Do not overlook manifestations because one is small or one is what you don't think is good enough to write down. Now, once you begin to experience dozens and hundreds of manifestations a day, which will happen if you continue, and that's no BS, you can ask the people in the comments, then yes, maybe you will not be able to write down every manifestation because you will not have time to do that. But what's really important to do here, once you write down the manifestation, you're going to date it, and then you want to write down what you had imagined or written down or had an inner conversation about to create that thing. So you're talking about tracing it back to the inception of the manifestation. How did you create it? Then you want to write down a small description of what technique you used, how many times you did it, how many times you thought about it, or how many times you imagined it rather, how many times you thought about it, were you able to forget about it, did you drop it, etc. And then that in and of itself is going to help you for later to analyze what works and what doesn't work. And there are patterns that you will find in every single person that has ever done one of these. Most of my videos are based on the data accumulated by thousands of people to come up with systems and patterns, and that's what I explained to you, right? So these are patterns just like the laws of the universe that you can trace and track. Once you have done that, think of what events had to happen in order for you to receive that manifestation. So in essence, you're writing down what you believe the bridge of incidents were. How long did it take? What actions were you required to take to get that manifestation? I give an example sometimes about a very simplistic one, but really clear. If you manifested a free cup of coffee, say you wrote it down, I received a free cup of coffee, and that's it, you forgot about it. 2 days later, you go to a different coffee shop and the barista gives you a free coffee for no apparent reason. You never met her before. So you look and you wonder, you want to dissect this, right? Because there are patterns as to how manifestation works. We know, and you'll find this after doing this, you'll find the patterns are that you impress your subconscious mind, and then there's something from there that connects to other people's subconscious minds and causes them to take actions and yourself to take actions, which will make you and the other people meet at the same exact time and same exact place in order for you to get that free coffee, and not the person before you and not the person after you. You will find that this is not random, that there is a master plan set up, moving all the pieces for you to be there, for that barista to be there, and for her to be in the mood to give you that coffee, or for something to go wrong or right for you to get that coffee. A little story that happened to me. Yesterday, on my way walking to a restaurant to eat, just something small, I imagined in my mind an inner conversation that I'm so grateful I get free stuff. It's been a while since I've done one of these. But what happened was I got to the restaurant and I sat at the bar. I ordered a drink and I ordered food. People started coming in after me, ordering food and then getting it before me. It didn't bother me because I wasn't that hungry to begin with. It was more just getting out. But still, eventually what happened was the man came to me and he said, I'm sorry it's taking so long. The next drink is on me. And so I got my free drink. So what all had to happen in order for me to get that manifestation? I had to first imagine it. And then I had to choose that restaurant, which I did on a whim. I had to order that meal, which in my mind, I originally thought I wanted to eat something else. And I had to be with that guy, not with any other waiter or waitress. And he had to be the one that was giving other people their food, because otherwise, the way that I saw it was that he was getting bothered that other people were ordering after me and then getting their food before me, and he was serving it to them. And then ultimately, he felt connected to me enough because we had a little conversation, both from the East Coast. I believe this is why he came up with the idea that giving me that free drink was going to make me feel better. All in all, why it happened doesn't particularly matter, because we know it's exactly why it happened was because I imagined it. And so we write down all those things to begin to get an idea of what needs to happen, how long it takes, how many people are involved, what they must be thinking, what I must be thinking to take all those actions in order for me to get that manifestation. So all of this we are writing down in our journal under the manifestation bullet. It's really fun. You will find patterns eventually. This in and of itself is worth, it's priceless, right? No technique, no course that you buy, no nothing is going to give you as much experience and mastery over your reality and manifestation as that one aspect of this journal. Priceless, right? So it goes beyond just simply keeping track of your manifestations, and it helps you dissect the very nature of reality. This same thing happens time and time again, and you will begin to realize that your imaginal act is sent to awareness or God. God then disperses it into impulses, causing people to take actions and do certain things, even yourself, and then ultimately them all working in perfect, beautiful unity to give you your manifestation at the exact time it needs to. The second one, and I will kind of summarize multiple bullet points here because these elaborate different techniques. Scripting or list method or affirmations that you're writing down, you draw a little book. This is my most common one that I write over and over and over again because most of my manifestations come from writing a single statement which implies I've already received my manifestation. So literally you will write a little tiny book, right? It looks like this when I write it down, literally. Well, more like this. You see pages, right? And then once you write that on the little in the left, you would write down a statement like, someone told me I was cool. I got a free meal. You just write down from the point of view of yourself in the future of already having received it, a statement or a script. This could be paragraphs. This could be a journal from the future about how you received your manifestation. That is one technique. That is the list method. Another thing that you could do for an affirmation or a decree or a command, like I am, is a crown. And it's, again, these are just little symbols for techniques. Then you have a Polaroid. A Polaroid means you're defining an imaginal act. That's you're outlining an imaginal act. It's a little symbol of a Polaroid. Then when you do a light bulb with an eye in it, that is you specifying that you have imagined. You're not specifying or outlining the imaginal act. You've already done that. And your little light bulb with an eye in it, you would next to it write whichever imaginal act you've outlined. So since you're dating all of these things, you would write outline, or maybe you would name it, right? Name it and then write down like imaginal act outlined on June 1st. And you put a little light bulb next to it. That implies on this date you've imagined that previously defined imaginal act. Some other ones that you will, actually let me say this. So for those that you write down that are describing imaginal acts, that are describing or they're scripting or journal entries, next to those you want to write down a date. So a journaling from the future, a list method, an imaginal act, those are talking about the actual imaginal act themselves. Because we know, if you've been following along, or there's videos on my channel that describe that even writing something in one statement will impress your subconscious if you do it properly. So that's an imaginal act. Writing something down, journaling from the future, that's an imaginal act. Literally visualizing, that's an imaginal act. Any time you are utilizing your imagination, that counts as an imaginal act. And each time you use your imagination by means of, or in order to create reality, to manifest your reality, you date that. If you want, depending on how much time you have, you would also write down how many times you imagined it. So whether that means you just put a tally next to it each time. The reason you do this is so that when it manifests and you write a little M and say this thing manifested, you can look back and say, oh, well, the last time I imagined that was on May 31st. It's a week later and I received that raise at my job. Or the person that I dislike most quit. That manifested. The point here is to keep track so that you can know exactly what you've done, what works, what doesn't work. You'll be able to look back and say, wow, this thing never happened. But I also never stopped imagining it. I've been doing it every night. You will find the patterns of what works and what doesn't. This is how you master manifesting. This is how you can cut through the nonsense in the books that you read, in the lectures that you listen to, in what you try or what you don't try. And you will know with your certainty of yourself, because you have the absolute proof, what is the right way and what is not the right way. Some of the other aspects that I talk about here, instead of, say, a manifestation, right? So synchronicities, you draw a little picture of a mirror. And next to that, you would write down what was the synchronicity. I was thinking in my mind about this, and then this thing happened. Or I was having a conversation with this person about playing video games, and then someone texted me right at that time and say, hey, did you play this new video game? So that is a synchronicity. For a desire that you have yet to define, you would write a heart, and you write the desire out. This is to keep track so that you can go back and look at it. Or for later, you write that for now, and then later define the imaginal act, or just imagine it. Inner conversation, another technique. You draw two little figures next to each other, and that's the inner conversation that you're defining, or that you've utilized. Revision, it's a little rewind icon. So if you're revising a scene, if you're outlining the scene, or if you've actually revised it itself, you write that down. And then when it comes, you can point to that. You know what you've done. You know what you've imagined. Dreams. If you have a dream about what you've imagined. If you have a premonition, you write down a D. And then you write that out. You define that. These are important so you can look at it and say, wow, I imagined this. I dreamt about it, and then it happened. Or I imagined this. I dreamt about the opposite, and it has yet to happen. You'll be able to find patterns. Again, this is how to master manifesting in no time at all. This is the silver bullet. This is how you gain long-term success that you can utilize consistently. This allows you to manifest anything that you want in a systemized, predictable manner. This is no BS. This is no nonsense. Right? This is mastery. This is how you get what you want. People will tell you, oh, this technique will get you this in 5 seconds. Or this is how you skip timelines. Most people who say these things, first of all, most of it's clickbait, as you know. But those who talk about this you've seen get-rich-quick schemes. None of them work. And it's the same process with manifesting. Anyone who says you can get this in 5 seconds has no idea what they're talking about. Utilizing this will gain you mastery over your life. You will get anything that you want, everything that you want with confidence, knowing it, right, in a predictable manner, a systematic, laser-focused way. This is what I have done. This is how I have manifested tens of thousands of times. This is how I know definitely without question that anything that you want is possible to obtain only by jotting down. It's as simple as having a journal, writing things down, looking back, reflecting, analyzing, dissecting, and repeating. Testing. An A+ is a test. Testing is one of the most important things you can do. If you have not mastered manifesting yet, by going through and writing down all your manifestations and reverse engineering them, seeing what happened on the bridge of incidents, doing segmented systematic tests is another way to mastery. So you will master manifesting by doing all of the things that I have just said and not testing it specifically. But if you want to test it, what you do is you write a little A+, that's what I do, and then I will schedule the test. I will say, I want to prove that I can control other people. The reason for this is because I want to manifest a specific person. So what can I do to prove to myself that I can manifest anything that I want as it relates to people? So you say, well, I don't want to mess with the middle, and I don't want to risk screwing up my manifestation that I really want. So I'm going to choose something that is similar to what I want, but not exactly it. And something that would imply that I am getting the same style of manifestation. So you say, okay, I want to manifest a specific person. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine that somebody tells me, someone that I am completely unaware likes me, tells me or confesses their love for me. Now, if that's too hardcore for you, you can choose something else. But with that said, what you do is you're looking for a similarity, but not it itself. And so that's a pretty similar manifestation that would prove that you have the power to do that, right? And so this is if you want to prove an aspect of manifesting, of what is possible. And so then you would choose a technique and you would imagine that thing over and over and over again. And then you would watch and you would write down when it happened. You would write the little M and you would prove that it worked. What you could also do is test the technique. So if you are a words person, but you want to prove that first person is the way to go opposed to the movie method, right? So if you've been following me, I have, in my humble opinion and in my experience through testing it, you must imagine in first person to have that systematic approach of manifesting, to have that laser focused predictability in getting what you want. So what you would do is you would say, okay, well, I've heard from someone else that I'm supposed to see myself in third person. And so you would choose things that are unimportant to you, and you would first imagine one, and now you'd have to choose different things, right? You couldn't imagine the same thing in first person and third person because that would not be a proper test. You wouldn't know which one manifested. But say you imagine finding a $100 bill on the ground in first person and then finding a $20 bill on the ground, or even a little bit further away, a coin, a silver dollar on the ground in third person. And you would imagine those over and over, and then you will see if somebody picks up a silver dollar in front of you, not you, then you know that third person makes someone else get the manifestation. This is how, by the way, besides my own failures in manifesting, imagining in third person, right, especially when it comes to specific people, I learned through pain. You don't have to do that if you take this approach. And then you will find that you are going to be the one that found the $100 bill because you saw it through your own eyes, felt it with your own hands, smelt it with your own nose, and put it in your own pocket, imaginally. This is how you test. You set it up, you write the A+, and then when the results come, you write A++, and you demonstrate, you write down what happened. There is so much more to talk about with a manifestation journal, and I want you to set it up the way that you feel comfortable doing so. I can go on and on and on about this, but what's most important is to do it. I have gone over the most important aspects of how to sharpen your manifesting game, and this is not fluff or nonsense. I am telling you, if you do this, you will eventually be able to master manifesting and get whatever you want. This is what brought me to where I am right now. If I had not taken the suggestion of my friend and started writing down my manifestations, I know for an absolute fact I would not be here. I would not have a business. I would not be living in California. I would not be healthy. I would not be happy. The other people in my life would not be happy. I would not be in a relationship that's long lasting and secure. I would still be out of my mind jealous and probably going through relationships consistently. Manifestation gets you whatever you want. And using the amazing tool of the manifestation journal will get you from amateur to master in a fraction of the time as someone else who did not use that. In fact, the people who do not use a manifestation journal, I've met people face to face who have channels who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they still do not know the basics, right? It pains me to say that because I don't like to say those types of things, but all that it would have taken is a slight change of perception to look at how this stuff works by writing it down, and they would have figured it out long ago. You, on the other hand, are here watching this, so you are already ahead of the game. Utilize this and watch what happens. You will begin to see crazy things happen. You'll begin to master manifesting and get whatever you want. So use this now. Start it. Don't mess around. Download that thing right as we end this video and print it out. If you want to master manifesting, law of attraction, whatever you want to do, it is in your grasp. So thank you for watching this. Hit the like button. It does something to the algorithm so that those who wouldn't normally be able to see this will be able to see it. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you want more broken down, laser focused, tested methods on how to manifest whatever you want. So thank you so much, and I will see you again.